Welcome back to Optimization, a podcast where we talk about faith, fitness, hard work, and discipline to empower you to become the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Abby, and in today's episode is about having a positive mindset because this is something that is thrown around all the time. But it is cliche, but if you really take action on it, if you really take this knowledge and apply it into your own life, it will completely change your life. And I have really been seeing this in my own life and seeing the effects of it and realizing that being positive, enjoying your life, those are a choice. That is something that is in your control. And in some situations, it's easier to do that than others. But overall, it is in your control. And if you don't like your life, it's your fault. And of course, if you don't like your life, change it and take action on it. But also, your perspective and your mindset towards your life, towards your experience, is really what matters. And so you have to realize that you have control over your thoughts. That is the first thing. And a thought might come into your head. Okay, that's not in your control. But it is in your control if that is going to stay there or not. And if you are passive and you just sit back and let your life pass you by, you're not going to be able to be positive because you actually have to put the intentions. You have to set intentions in order to do that. Because then if a challenge arises, then you throw your hands up and then you start complaining. And then you're negative. And then you're not having that positive mindset. You're not having that positive attitude. And you have to take control. And you have to be intentional about your life. And this goes with anything. I don't understand how people are just a victim to their circumstances. And then they complain about how much their life sucks. Well, maybe you should actually change it because you have control over your life. But you have to take advantage of that. And recognizing that hurts. Recognizing the fact that you wasted your entire life away because you had these limiting beliefs and you gave up control to things outside of you. That hurts. But if you do not take ownership over that, you are not able to control it. And there are some uncontrollables in your life. But with those uncontrollables, that is when you can change your mindset about those things. And if you want to live your best life, it is going to be hard. And that is another thing, because if you just do what's easy all the time, if you always are doing something for the sake of enjoyment, that is never going to lead to fulfillment. But when you are doing things that you enjoy, that is easier to be positive about. But it is hard to be positive about putting the work in. It is hard to be positive about getting up out of bed at 5 a.m. when that is the last thing that you want to do. And that is where this attitude comes in. Because if you actually want dreams, if you actually want to live a meaningful life, it is going to be a lot harder than the life of chasing comfort. But it will be a lot harder, but it will be that much more worth it. And yeah, because if you're just doing things that you enjoy all the time, I mean, why would you need to be positive during that? Because it's just automatically happens. But you have to enjoy the process. You have to enjoy putting the grueling work that you hate to do. You have to enjoy that and you have to be grateful for it. And your perspective determines the life that you have. We don't live life, we live a life that we focus on. Pretty sure that's Tony Robbins or some smart person. I didn't create that quote, but anyway. And yeah, it is in your control and you have to take advantage of that. And you cannot just say, well, because of XYZ, I don't like my life, or because of XYZ, I'm in this position and I can complain. Complaining is never acceptable. Being negative is never acceptable. And people who don't do the self work, that is the people who are negative. That is the people who are always complaining. But guess what? Those things never make it better. Those only make it worse. And you're just enforcing this victim mentality if you are complaining, because that is saying, oh, I don't have control over this. And like, stop being a little baby and mature. you are a grown adult. The only time when it is okay to be complaining is when you are a toddler. After that, unacceptable. And because you complaining, it's just you are over exaggerating about the pain, and then it makes it that much worse. But you have to realize that, oh wow, this actually isn't that bad, and this challenge is helping me to grow into the person who I am meant to be. And you have to be grateful for the pain. And oh yeah, that's easier said than done. I'm aware. Yeah, I had to think about that one for a second. But every single challenge, every single hardship that you have to go through is an opportunity for growth. Because if we had an easy life, there would never be growing. And then life would be quite boring. Because we would just be perfect at everything. There would be no challenge. There would be no flavor to life. And you have to you cannot allow your feelings to dictate your life. Because your feelings are going to be up one day, they're going to be down the other. It is going to be like the weather. Why would you determine if you have a good day or not based on the weather? Because I'm just using the weather as an example because that's how your feelings are, and they're inconsistent. If you want to have a good life, you have to have a good day every day, which means that you cannot rely on something that is inconsistent. And something that is consistent is yourself. Something that is, or something that can be consistent, is your beliefs and your thoughts, because those are in your control, and you can make those consistent and show up every single day with the thinking, with the intention of having a good day. And you have to look for things to be grateful for. You have to look for things to be positive about. They don't just come. And there is always something to be grateful for. No matter what circumstance you are in. You could be living in a third world country, haven't eaten in a week, and barely drinking any water. Will you have breath in your lungs? You have life. You have a body to live in. There is always something to be grateful for, and you have to appreciate that. But that is not an excuse to settle. You have to, yes, appreciate that and appreciate growth and showing up for yourself and hard work, and allow that to build positive momentum so you can continue to succeed, but not use that as an excuse to settle. Not allow that to hold you back, because you are capable of more. You are capable of doing better, and you are capable of achieving more. And you have to appreciate and acknowledge what you have, but continue to want more, because you are worthy of more. But you are also worthy of putting the work in to achieve more. And for me, a great way that I'm able to be grateful is I have these moments. And I haven't been doing them so often, which I need to get better about. But it's just a thank you, Lord moment. That's what I like to call them, because I literally take a step back and say, thank you, Lord. But this could be wildflowers, because recently it's been getting warmer and flowers are blooming and it's beautiful. And this sun, or especially music in the gym, I will be jamming out, not actually singing, but lip syncing, having my own concert, dancing. And it's just, I could just get so happy. And I thank God for that, because he really blessed me there. I mean, we're blessed with life. We're blessed with so many things, and you have to appreciate them and not take your life for granted. And I automatically just get a smile on my face whenever I do that. And I love being able to appreciate life. And again, it's a choice. And you can always complain about wishing for things to get better, but they won't get better unless you change it. And if it's not something that's in your control, you can't control it. So why waste your time trying to control it and then complaining about how you can't? That's stupid. You aren't getting anywhere. And complaining, it only decreases the chance of you actually making a change, because then you are enforcing this victim mentality and saying, oh, this isn't something that's in my control, so I'm just going to complain about it. Yeah. And then it just gets worse. And seasonal depression is another thing, which is why I'm making this, because it has been getting warmer. And I am somebody who, so I do not believe in depression. I believe that it is something that is just in your thoughts and it's self sabotage, basically, creating your own suffering. But let's say it was a thing. I have had seasonal depression for the past couple years. And it's getting warmer, so that means that I'm getting happier. But you might say, "Oh, well, science says that if it's more sunny, then you get happier." Okay, I don't care, because I don't want the weather to determine if I have a good day or not. And that is giving up this control, that is being a victim to my circumstances. And for me, I had that identity. I had that identity that, oh, I have seasonal depression. And then I aligned with that, because whatever you think about yourself is true. If you think that you have depression, you will. And then your actions, your thoughts are going to align with that identity. And you have to work through that identity, which is something that I'm working on. But also, I have struggled with actual depression, not just seasonal depression. And that was another thing where I was a victim to. And I thought that I had depression, so I did. If you think that you are a negative person, if you think that your life sucks, it will. But if you think that you are a positive person, if you think that you are somebody who enjoys their life, if you think that you are somebody who loves your life, and not just, oh yeah, I believe in myself, but if you actually believe that, you will. And our identities determine all of our actions, they determine all of our thoughts. And that is something that is in your control. Is it hard to take control over? Is it hard to take ownership over that? Absolutely. But it is in your control. And this goes back to being passive, because if you allow your identity to be aligned with somebody who you don't want to be, you are not going to become the person who you want to be. And you have to align with your identity with the person who you want to be. Align it with the life that you want to live. And then eventually you will live that life. You eventually will become that person. And you always have the ability to change. I do not care what your past looks like. You can change from that. You can grow from that. That is not who you are. And you have the ability to become whoever you want to be. But you have to choose to do so. And another thing, smiling. It is so powerful. Check out my lives, but on TikTok. I'm live almost every night. But I smile all the time in those. And it is something that is so simple, but it makes me so much happier. And I think that because I do that, maybe I'm just imagining things here, but I think that more people want to watch it because I'm smiling, because I'm all giggly and happy the whole time. And that was not even something that I intentionally did. But now looking at that, I do intentionally do it, because it just makes you that much more happier. And it makes those around you that much happier. And it is something that is so simple to do. You literally just, if you're on audio, I just smiled. Look, that was a completely fake smile, but you get the point. And I am just somebody who naturally smiles now. But I had to choose to do that. That doesn't just automatically happen. But it makes you more happier. It makes you more positive. And it is just something that is so simple, so small, but makes that much of a difference. And being present. This is another thing. This is something that I really struggle with. And being able to be grateful in the times, even when it sucks, even when you're not having fun. Because, like I said before, if you're having fun, it's easy to be positive in those moments. It's easy to have fun when you are doing something that is fun. But how do you have fun? How do you be grateful? How do you be positive in the times when it is the last thing that you want to do? And with that, I think I am somebody who is always just waiting for time to pass. I'm always waiting. Oh, what's the next thing? Get this done, get this done, get this done. And that's just who I am. I don't, most of what I do in a day, I don't want to do. So it comes along with kind of being more of that self-improvement and productive, whatever you want to call it. But you still have to be present. You still have to enjoy your life. Even if you're not doing things that you enjoy, you have to enjoy it anyway. And you have to be grateful for it, because no matter what you achieve, if you're just wishing your life away, there's no point. There's no point if you didn't even enjoy the progress, if you didn't enjoy the process. And in the suck, in the hard work, that is what really matters. And you have to choose to be grateful in those moments. You have to choose to be positive, because that is the hardest time to be positive. But we are blessed with life, and why waste it? And Chad Wright, he is amazing. He's a Navy SEAL. He's a man of God, man of Jesus. He's religiously fully surrendered, amazing. But he's also an ultra marathoner. Navy SEAL, man of God, and ultra marathon. Okay, but he does these long endurance events, like 100 milers. I think this past fall, did a very long kayaking race or some canoe, something along the lines of that. But he values being present, and when he does these things, he hates them, and they are so hard. Like, of course that sucks. Of course that sucks to run 100 miles. That's not fun. But he values being present, and he really is just able to not look at the big picture, but instead just look at what is in front of him. And being present in this way, you are also able to segment things off. And instead of looking at the whole staircase, you just focus on the one step, and then you focus on the next step. And then you are not getting overwhelmed. And then that, like, getting overwhelmed, that can cause you to quit or just not do your best in general. But he does these extremely hard things, but he is able to enjoy. He will not enjoy them, but be present in them and be grateful and be positive throughout them. But that is a skill that you have to build, and that doesn't just automatically happen. But why waste your life away always waiting for the next thing to come? Because eventually that next thing to come is going to be your death. And I don't want to die knowing that I just waited for time to pass. But being positive, it really is a choice. Being grateful, it is a choice. Choose to be positive. Choose to be grateful. Choose to make the most out of your life. Because the life that you live is not just about what you do, your accomplishments, but the life that you live is about the perspective that you have on those things. The life that you live is about your own experience and how you were able to impact others as well. And being able to impact others, because two people can be doing the same exact thing, but one could have a positive mindset, live a much better life than the other one, because the other one was negative. And the life that you live is determined by your mindset, not what you do. And being positive, it helps those around you so much better, because who wants to be around somebody who is complaining and negative? Nobody. And that is why you have to choose to be positive. You have to choose to be grateful, because then it also lifts those around you up as well. And just seeing people in public and smiling, or just saying a simple, "Hi, how are you?" It's so powerful and it's so meaningful. But if you are negative, you can't do that. You can't have those little interactions. And just saying hi to the people at the gym, who work at the front desk. But that is why when you work on yourself, you are able to serve those around you better. Because the best gift that you can give somebody is the best version of you. And people who don't work on themselves, people who are not trying to grow and improve, they don't take ownership over their lives. So then they're negative, and then they only make those around them worse. Do you want to be that person who is on a lower frequency and constantly bringing the people around you down? Or do you want to be making their lives better? Even if it is just as simple as smiling at them. So that is all that I have for you today. And I hope that you guys were able to receive some value from this. And go like, follow, subscribe, leave a rating, review, comment. I think I don't know if I said that or not. But yeah, go check out my TikTok and Instagram, and YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, which is all either in my bio if you're on Spotify, or Apple Podcasts listed in my bio, or in the link in my bio if you are on YouTube. And I do go live almost every single night on TikTok from about 7 to 8:30 Eastern time. I'm pretty sure New York time, whatever time zone that is. But yeah, go check those out too, because you can interact with me, and yeah, they're fun. But remember that there is so much more out there for you. Optimize your life.